What's up, everybody? This is Shontavia, and I wanted to hop on today to talk about Nick Cannon and what's going to happen to his show Wild 'N Out now that he's been fired by Viacom CBS. So if you live under a rock, if you haven't been paying close attention to the news today, then maybe you haven't seen that Nick Cannon got himself in a ton of hot water based on some things he said on his podcast about comments about Jewish people that Viacom CBS has deemed to be bigotry and anti-Semitic. And literally within 24 hours, he lost his job. He lost his job faster than the cops who murdered Breonna Taylor. But that aside, Nick Cannon is having some issues right now because of what happened on his podcast and being fired by Viacom. So after news of his firing was made public, one of the things he did was got on social media and he posted this long statement. And one of the things he says in there is that he demands full ownership of Wild 'N Out. Now, if you don't know what Wild 'N Out is, it's a show that Nick Cannon says in this post he created, he financed, he built with his own money and his own hands, and then presented to Viacom through MTV as something that they could collaborate on. And this show has been really popular for many years. I think it went off the air for a little while, but they've had more than 200 episodes of this show. And Viacom had ordered a number of new episodes of the show before all this happened. And lots of celebrities, lots of very, very famous folks have appeared on the show. So this has been a lucrative collaboration between Nick Cannon and Viacom. So this is going to have some significant repercussions because Nick Cannon is technically Wild 'N Out. It was his show, it was his idea, it was his creation. And what he says is that Viacom CBS swindled him out of ownership of Wild 'N Out. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know what his contracts say. I assume lots of lawyers will interpret whatever that statement actually means. But what I want to talk to you guys about is the lessons you can take from this. So Nick Cannon says, and if we take everything Nick says is true, he says he created this with his own money. He financed the entire thing and he presented it to Viacom. Now, if you are going to do this, if you get to the point where you're in a position to negotiate with anybody, big or small, it may not be Viacom, it might be Pookie down the street, but at any rate, if you're going to be creating content and you want to present an opportunity to collaborate, you need to know various things about ownership. I just want to scratch the surface of what you need to know about ownership. Number one, do you have any copyrights that need to be protected? Do you have any trademarks that need to be protected? Do you have any patents that need to be protected? Do you have any trade secrets you need to take steps to protect? And if your work doesn't fall into any of those categories, what does the contract language say that you are going to either present or sign about ownership? So even if you don't have any intellectual property in any of this stuff at all, you can agree to ownership terms via contract. And if you do have intellectual property, you can agree to terms via contract. So all of you who are creating things, who are collaborating, who are thinking about collaborating, look at your contracts. Make sure you know what your contracts say. Now, in about 30 seconds, I want to just say really quickly about intellectual property. Patents protect inventions. Trademarks protect whatever you're using to connect with your consumers and distinguish your products and services from the products and services of other people. A lot of people think of this as names and logos, but it can be anything. It can be music, it can be colors, it can be holograms, it could be smells, it could be anything. And then finally, copyrights protect the tangible representation of your work. So if you're a content creator, you're probably making videos, social media posts, pictures, all that kind of stuff falls within copyright. And if you have things that are valuable because they are secret, then you can protect those things via trade secret. You don't file an application for trade secret. You do a lot of this via the steps you take and the contracts that you sign or have other people sign. But you can take early steps to ensure that you own the things that you create. That way, when you're walking into a negotiation, you're coming in with a stronger position because you own the things already. And you can assign a value to those things, and people can decide whether or not they want to pay you for that or not, whether they want to buy that from you or not. And even if you don't have any of these things, if for whatever reason your work is not patentable, trademarkable, copyrightable, or protectable by trade secret, get everything in writing and know what that means. Now, I don't know why Nick Cannon is saying he's been swindled. There must be something in the contractual terms that he didn't like. But if you're going to walk into a relationship like this, don't sign anything without being really, really comfortable with what the ownership terms were. Look back to a couple days ago with what happened with Michaela Cole. Remember, she walked away from Netflix because they wouldn't give her any kind of ownership at all. So make sure you know what those contract terms say also. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you like this video, make sure you click like below and make sure you subscribe. I'm going to try to come on every day and talk about different stories, different events, different things that are happening that you can learn from in your business, in your brand, and in your entrepreneurial endeavor. Thanks.